Okay, I feel like making this video because this topic needs to be discussed. Artificial intelligence. Every day I use my computer, I become more and more and more concerned about the idea of artificial intelligence. Now, I made a video recently wherein I spoke about the idea of Terminators, like in the movie, or in the movies, and the idea of the Matrix. And I talk about those things in jovial terms. However, I think that the way that technology is evolving is on something of an exponential curve at the moment. And I do think there's a potential for it to get wildly out of control. When we used to use the internet, when it first emerged publicly, we used to put a search in, and that search would bring back results. The same as if you went to a library and looked for a particular book, you could use the system to find that book. If I pursue that analogy a little bit further, the internet now is like a library which seeks to choose what you read for you. And I think that that is extremely dangerous. Now, if there's a person or people behind such an institution, that's one thing. But if the institution itself has been programmed so as to come up with such solutions itself, I believe that could quickly get out of hand. When I find websites now, I find articles and I read articles on things. First of all, to what extent are my search results tailored and interfered with? Secondly, at what point does an artificial intelligence program begin to discern what the person's looking for and then generate artificial, fake, wholly fake articles about such topics to give to the user, pretending that it's being written by a human journalist, when in fact it's not. The picture of the journalist can be faked, the name, everything. It can all be faked. A whole website could be faked using artificial intelligence, what we call artificial intelligence. So the more I see this kind of thing happening as a potential, and perhaps even as a reality, the less I want to use the internet, because I don't want to be manipulated. And the more I pull away from the internet. I'm using YouTube at the moment to put out my video. I don't know who will watch it, but I want to share these insights because they're important. I now don't want to use the internet. When I was younger, about 20 years ago, I was like, yeah, internet's really handy. I could get the information I wanted. Now, I am deeply suspicious of anything that comes out of the internet, because I believe if it's not the case that the majority of it's fake now, it very soon will be. And I can fortunately tell the difference between something which is authentically from a person and something which is fake. There's always something that's ever so slightly off when something's fake and artificially produced. Now, if you remember the Terminator films, they had to use dogs to sniff out the Terminators who had human skin grown on them, right? But there's always something about an artificial thing which is not quite human. Whatever it would be. And all of these futuristic films, like Blade Runner, for example, is, you know, that's a film based upon the idea of androids being created who are like synthetic humans who are basically almost externally indiscernible from humans, and the idea that, you know, to what extent they could become. Anyway, I don't even. It's not even worth thinking about. It's an awful idea. But the problem with AI is that it is more capable of achieving such things than humans are. We do have certain fail-safes as well, whereas an AI system wouldn't. And if it got out of hand, we'd be in big trouble. It may already be out of hand. We may already be in big trouble without even realizing it. Now, who is at the forefront of this? I don't know. Probably many different, I don't know, institutions or factors globally. You know what I want to do? I want to get the hell away from this society. Okay, it's a catastrophe. I don't want this AI, I don't want technology. The more this technology occurs, the more I want to get the hell away from it. Because it's unnatural, and it's just, you can see people just getting sucked into it. And it does them no good. We need to get the hell away from it. I just want to get away from this bogus society that we have, and I want a piece of land and some animals, and I want to farm and enjoy reality. What we have around us it's not decent, it's not human, it's not real, it's a mess. And I think it makes people very vulnerable. So, the internet used to be an interesting, fun thing, and now it has become a danger. Truly. When the Terminator films, I don't know, appeared, were created, the idea of something called Skynet was really far-fetched. The idea that there could be a system which was put in place to govern important parts of society, and that it would become self-aware. That's the most dangerous thing, I think. And in all of the sci-fi films of that genre, that's the problem. And I think that we are watching such things happen without realizing it. I think that even the people who are at the forefront of this sort of technology are probably observing things that make them very, very uncomfortable. And, you know, if you're in a speeding car and the car's getting out of control, sometimes you're better off taking your foot off the accelerator. And I don't think that people are going to take their feet off the accelerator here, so I think I want to not be in that speeding car. I think that, unfortunately, it seems to me that some catastrophes are looming. Probably several different types of catastrophe. And sadly, one of the greatest things I think a person can do in this era of history is to stay the hell away from such catastrophes. I, for example, made the decision recently to avoid watching movies. I'm tired of them. Every time I watch them, I realise that they are just heightening my nervous condition, shall we say, as they do with anyone. They're full of, high intensity emotional things, and it's highly distracting and highly disturbing to a person's peace, shall we say, and it also wastes time. And nowadays, with videos etc. being available, whenever you want them on the internet, it's not how it was before. It's not the same as putting a video into a video player. It's completely different, and there's something about it that's not right. There's something about it that I don't like, and I'm pulling out. And this has been brewing for a little while. I think that people who are switched on, people who are intelligent and actually use their brains, are probably going to do the same thing. Because once you start thinking for yourself properly, you do observe things and you're like, no, that's not quite right. And this is what I observe with media. I think media is now poisonous. It's even going to be the case soon that things are automatically generated. You could probably have an AI generated film. I want no part of that. I want nothing to do with it. I'm pulling out. So I'm removing myself from that, shall we say, user base. I won't be a part of it. I won't watch such things. I won't go in for such things. I'm out. They are extremely dangerous, and the artificialness of it is what is a danger to the human experience of life. And we need to back off from it. That's the truth. We need to back off from it. I've noticed it. I'm sure other people have noticed it as well, which is good. But the action of backing off from it is interesting. It's an interesting feeling. Now, for example, instead of watching movies and such media, I will be reading books. And I won't be reading new books. I will be reading old books, because publishing itself has become corrupt to the point where there's always an agenda in the books that are printed. So I will be looking for old books. The older the better. And I will be reading those books and taking care of them, because those things are probably the only thing that stands between us and intellectual Armageddon. So that's my perspective. I think that we are going very, very fast and far the wrong direction. And yeah, I have become annoyed with and frustrated with computing, and now I'm just not interested in it. I think it's dangerous, and I think it's going to become more and more dangerous, and more people are going to see this, because it's inevitable. It's gone nuts. Blech. I want nothing to do with it. I literally want nothing to do with it. And I'll tell you what, the peace of mind I have now is almost the same as the peace of mind I had before all of this nonsense. Back in the early 2000s, when things made sense, before everything went nuts. So pulling out is the right thing to do.